Today I'm going to show you how to layer seamless paper backgrounds to create a graphic effect. Hey everybody, Lindsay Adler here, and I love shooting super saturated scenes. But sometimes when I shoot on seamless paper backgrounds, sometimes I feel like maybe I get repetitive. I want something with a little bit more interest, maybe a little bit more of a set. So today, we're creating a more interesting background by layering our seamless paper. So the main background that you see behind me is Savage Universal Plum. It's this really beautiful purple. Now, based on the subject's outfit, we wanted to create a bit of a pop, a contrast, and so we decided to go with a yellow seamless paper. In this case, it is Savage Universal Canary. Analyzing the subject's outfit, we were like, all right, what could we do? Should we cut shapes out of the yellow and layer it on the background? Or maybe we put one in front of the other, or a yellow on each side and the purple in the background so the model is stepping out of a pathway. There are a million different options. But in the end, what we decided to do is simply hang the paper from side to side, but then line the yellow up so that it was matching the position of the yellow on her shoulders. The result would be something graphic, complementary, and would match her clothing to the environment. One of the important things to keep in mind anytime that you build a set or you're planning a photo shoot is that there's no right answer. It all depends on intention. And so there are a million ways that I could build a set and a million ways I could light this set. And so we decided that because of the graphic yellow element across the background, it might be interesting to contrast that with a vertical line of light. So it'd almost be like the subject was meeting in the crosshairs of the light in the background. For that reason, we selected our main light source, which is a ProPhoto D2 with a Westcott optical spot. You guys know, especially if you watch my YouTube content, that I love the optical spot. This gives me a ton of control to put just tight little pockets of light on my subject or pattern or texture of light on the background. What we're doing right now is using the optical spot to create a slice of light, just a beam of light down the center of the frame. I love this quality of light because I can use it if I just want to pop the subject out from the background or if I want something far more dramatic, in this case, just like that beam of light. Now the kit lens with the optical spot is very focused. It's great for beauty, great for head and shoulders. But if I'm doing full length, I usually switch out to another lens. In this case, I'm using a 35mm EF lens. The optical spot is made so that it has the kit lens, but it can fit any EF lens, any lens that has an EF mount onto it. By going to 35mm, I'm able to create that beam of light from head to toe. All right, so far we have that single strobe, optical spot, slice of light to contrast so that it's a vertical line against the horizontal line of the background. Let's see what we're working with. So far so good, and I like the shot. I could shoot it as is and just work on having maybe more interesting poses or a little bit movement in the scene. But I do like that the purple and yellow extend beyond the sides of this spotlight. The problem is I don't want it to detract. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a fill light just to lift up those shadows. For this shot, I'm going to use a second ProPhoto D2 with a large umbrella with diffusion. This is going to lift the shadows and I can bring it flat onto the frame, basically as close to my lens as possible, as close to flat on, so that the shadows cast by this light are hidden behind the subject. You won't notice it quite as much. Now, if you don't have the space or maybe you don't have another modifier, you could also try this light bouncing off the ceiling. Now, if your ceilings are high enough, what it'll do is it'll bounce off the ceiling and it becomes like this omnidirectional light source that just lifts the shadows with a little bit of directionality from above. So in this case, I'm going to use my large umbrella with diffusion, but you could certainly try to just bounce the light. So let's add the second light into the scene and see how it controls the shadows. All right, so I think we have the core ingredients that we need for a great shot, but I want to talk a little bit about the variables that we have available to us here. So first of all, I can open and close the shutters of the optical spot. I have these leaves that I can make that slice of light. I can make it narrower or make it wider. I could also change the directionality of that beam of light. So perhaps there's an angle or a pose that I like that I think would be better for a diagonal beam of light. I can simply rotate the optical spot and have that variable. The other thing that I could do is turn up or down the power of my fill light. Maybe I want to have even more detail and I want it to be a little bit sunnier, a little bit more high key, turn up the fill light. If I want it dark and dramatic, I can turn it down. And then of course, I have the ability to play around with movement. I can have big steps with my subject. I can create really graphic poses and maybe change the position of the main light to match that pose. And so those are the types of things that I am processing when I'm trying to figure out how to make the most engaging, the most dynamic shot out of a simple scene. All right, so with all of those things in mind, I'm going to grab the shot. Now for these images, I'm going to be shooting with my go-to setup, which is a Canon R5 and the Canon RF 24-105. I love the 24-105 for fashion shots because it gives me a wide enough focal length to shoot head to toe, but then if I maybe like a 3/4 shot or a headshot, I can easily pop into the 105 and get much tighter crops. All right, so with that, I'm going to grab the shot, and I think I'm going to bring this light even more centered to the frame to try to reduce any shadow that it's casting. And I love the little stripe of color down the side of her leg. So I'm gonna try some poses where she's stepping because I think that will unite her even more with that horizontal line of the canary background. All right, so let's do it. Perfect. And I'm just gonna have you take a step into the light. Images that even a simple set, just layering seamless paper backgrounds can create for a more interesting and more dynamic set. Now, if you want to see the gear used in the making of these images, be sure to check out the links in the description below, and also check out the Plum and Canary Savage seamless paper backgrounds. Now, if you like videos like this and you want more of my tips and tricks, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.